Hello again, sports bettors. This is Jeff Makinen for DRF Sports. I'm here to go over the Thursday night matchup between 4-2 Kansas City and 2-4 Denver, which will be kicking off week 7 of the NFL season. I'll be utilizing the DRF Sports matchup tool, which is a great resource for handicapping. With all the information on this matchup tool, you cover all the bases and don't leave any stone unturned in your handicapping process. Plus, with a DRF Sports subscription, you have access to the DRF Sports Forum, which is a tip sheet loaded with stats, trends, and our expert picks from our top handicappers. All this for $5. Well, guys, log in at sports.drf.com. Start your subscription today. Kansas City is a current 3-point favorite in this game at Denver. They opened up at 5.5, so the line has come down quite a bit towards Denver. Current total sitting at 48.5, dropping from 50.5, 2-point drop in that one. Looking at the rating systems in this game, estimate number 1 projects Kansas City with a 24-20 victory. Very little value on the Chiefs, slight value on the under. Estimate number 2, a 26-21 Kansas City win, which is a little bit of edge to Kansas City, and very slight on the under. The power line projects Kansas City to be a 2-point favorite, which is actually a 1-point value edge to Denver. So somewhat neutral to a slight lean on the under for the rating systems. Statistically, Kansas City is starting to have some issues with stopping the run, and this has contributed to their recent 2-game losing streak. On the season, Kansas City is allowing 162 rushing yards per game and 5.2 yards per play. In fact, they're being outrushed by their opponents by almost 80 yards per game, which is quite a large amount. And the problem has actually gotten worse over the past couple weeks. In fact, if I look into the results, I can show you one thing that sticks out here. The Chiefs have allowed in their last 4 weeks 203, 186, 180 and 192 yards rushing to their opponents. And boy, they should be fortunate to be sitting at 2-2 in those games. As you can see, the 2 victories were tight wins over Baltimore and Detroit, a 5 and a 4-point win, followed by the losses to Indianapolis and Houston. So Kansas City will have to correct that here in a tough road environment at Denver against a Bronco team who 2 weeks ago did put up 191 yards rushing against the Chargers. Denver, on the other hand, has stopped the run quite well. 35 yards allowed to the Chargers and 39 in last week's 16-0 shutout win over the Titans. So they are doing a nice job at the line of scrimmage stopping the run. In the betting angles, a couple ones stick out on the Kansas City side. Andy Reid is 30-11 against AFC opponents on the road. Pretty long-standing trend here as coach of Kansas City. Interesting betting system that pops up. Kansas City, I mentioned earlier how Kansas City is being dominated on the ground, but that may not necessarily be a bad thing according to this contrarian betting system, which tells you to play on any road team who's outrushed by their opponents by 40 or more yards per game. As I mentioned, Kansas City is outrushed by 80. If they were outrushed by 100 or more last game, which the Chiefs were. So that is a play on Kansas City, and it has a 25-6 record over the last 5 seasons. Interesting to note, Patrick Mahomes, as a starter of Kansas City, is 8-3 on the road. One in particular I noticed on the under. I will cruise to that. Actually, 2 of them. The Broncos are a perfect 8-0 under against the AFC West opponents the last 2 seasons. They're also 7-0 under versus winning teams over the last 2 seasons. Finally, I'll look at line movements in this game. 77% of the action is going to Kansas. The public action is on Kansas City, and despite that, the line has dropped significantly from 5.5 to 3. So it is a good indication that there is some sharp action here on Denver. 73% of the public is favoring the under, which coincides with the move downward. Thanks again for listening. This is Jeff Makinen at DRF Sports, Twitter handle @SportsDBExpert. Check out the rest of this week's action at sports.drf.com, and we will talk to you soon.